Shopify dropshipping is getting even more difficult in 2021, and here's how. Let's go. What's up, guys? This is 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗘𝗦, and you have reached the roughneck's ecom channel. If you want to learn how to make money online or offline, then you need to be right here. I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller. I'm also an honorably discharged Air Force veteran. Graduated from Penn State and started a career as a software engineer and leveraged that to build my businesses. If you guys have any questions on how to make money, you're gonna find all your answers right here, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so back in the day, I'd say around 2016 or so, Shopify was quite easy. You just had to find something on AliExpress, load it on an ugly ass website, and just there you go, run some traffic to it, and you were gonna pretty much guaranteed to be making sales. That is not how it works, especially now that the pandemic has hit and moving into 2021. Customers are more savvy, Facebook ads are more expensive, Google ads are more expensive, and there's a lot more complexity when it comes to building out a store, okay? It is getting way more difficult. And I know there's gonna be a lot of people that disagree because you guys are seeing these like 17-year-old kids talking about, I made $1 million on Shopify. Unless you got a platinum Amex, it's kind of fucking impossible, okay? And we're gonna talk about why, okay? We're gonna talk about why, and it'll make sense once we talk about it. But Shopify is actually the most difficult platform for a beginner to start with. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of money that most people don't have. Now that ads are getting more expensive and customers are getting more experienced and are becoming smarter, it's gonna take even more money to convince those people. It's gonna take multiple ad sets, tons of different ad copy in order to make a store that's gonna generate the type of money that these young kids are talking about. I'm not saying everyone's lying, but the majority of them are blowing smoke up your ass, okay? That's just what it is. In order for you to combat this, we're gonna have to take a look at your ad strategies, and we're gonna have to take a look at the products you guys are gonna be selecting, okay? So let's go ahead, let's talk about it. We're gonna break it down right now. All right, ladies and gents, if you guys are just dead set on dropshipping on Shopify, here's what you need to know. You guys are gonna be essentially jumping on trending items damn near all the time. And that's really the only way that this is gonna work for you until you guys can build out a brand that's strong enough to sell on its own without having to jump on trending products. Now, let's just say you're striking up a, I don't know, what's a good business? I don't know, like a beauty store. We'll just say that, like a beauty product store. And let's say the hot item, which actually a few years ago, a hot item was these freaking eyebrow pins. They were selling like crazy. All right, they were just absolutely going crazy. I was seeing all types of fucking ads for them. The software I was using was popping them up as, a potential. It was just fucking annoying, to say the least. Like, I got tired of it. But those were really good items to help build a beauty niche store with, okay? You could have jumped on that hot trending product and then started building out other items that would ultimately be kind of like your particular evergreen products that would grow your store and your brand reach, okay? So that's what you guys are gonna have to try to find. You're gonna have to try to find a product that is sort of trending on whenever you guys start, on I'd say a regular basis during that time frame that you guys are getting ready to start your stores or perhaps reinvent your stores. All right, you find trending items. How do you do that? You use Google Trends. If you guys, don't have a ton of money, which you shouldn't be getting into Shopify unless you got a lot of disposable income anyway, but if you don't, use Google Trends, okay? It will tell you everything you need to know. It will tell you all about the searches. So let's just say, I wanted to build out kind of like a geek store centered around maybe figurines, stuff like that. I would have jumped on, 2077, Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, Cyberpunk 2077 had been trending for a very long time on Google Trends. It was a game that everyone was really looking forward to, and even though it sold pretty well, it was kind of a disappointment compared to like Grand Theft Auto 5 and all these other things. But it was trending, and a lot of people were searching for it, which would have given you an opportunity, or given me in this case, if I was going to build that store out, given me an opportunity to sell a bunch of figurines and memorabilia around Cyberpunk 2077. So even though I will have wanted to build out a geek store, centered around numerous things, having Cyberpunk 2077 kind of be that draw-in would have definitely helped me out. Okay, that's kind of what you guys need to look for. Find something that's going to draw in the attention and then kind of hook people along the way. All right, be like, oh, boom, this is what I wanted, but I'm seeing some extra stuff. So, I really wanted this little, eyebrow pin, but I also saw, you know, a makeup sponge, or I saw this or whatever, or, you know, maybe I wanted these placemats, but now I found, you know, some silverware and all this other stuff. Those are the kind of things that you need to be looking for. All right, and those are the kind of things that you're going to have to do when it comes to building out your Shopify store and then building a brand around it. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, build a one product store, and one product stores do work, and essentially that's kind of what you're doing in the beginning phases. You're building out a store with multiple items, but it's centered around that one particular product. So it gives you an opportunity to kind of upsell and downsell depending on if people want those items. Usually downsells are going to be towards the end where people, you know, let's say they don't want to purchase that item. You know, so if they get ready to leave, you can offer them something else, like, hey, you know, we see that you like this, but, you know, if that's not your twist, let's give you something that's kind of similar or something that fits along that niche, and then perhaps they buy that on their way out of your store. Okay, now an upsell, obviously, you can do a two for one, a 3 for 2, whatever it is. You know, that's going to be, you know, down the line as well. We'll talk about that in a different video, but this is kind of what you guys need to know. Now, we're also going to be talking about the ads that you run and how you guys can essentially figure out which types of ads, whether it's going to be static or it's going to be video ads, based on your budget and like your ad copy and like a lot of the other creatives that go along with it. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's talk about it, because this kind of gets in depth a little bit. I'm going to try to make it as simplistic as possible, but it can definitely, it can burn through a lot of money. So let's go. All right, guys, so when it comes to your Facebook ad strategy, we'll kind of leave Google ads out for the time being, but your Facebook ad strategy, now the ads are getting a little bit more expensive, you're going to have to kind of tailor the ads to the item, right? So some items can do really well with static, you know, static ads, kind of like the Cyberpunk 2077 figurine or something. Like, you don't necessarily have to do any live action with that. You can just have a static post and a static picture, and people are going to enjoy it, and, you know, they'll probably click because they already know. Like, they're not going to be sitting there doing all the crazy fight stuff. There's just going to be, all right, this guy's going to sit on my desk, or, you know, maybe somewhere else, and just look good, just be for art. Now, when it comes to something like the eyeliner pen, that is going to be a little bit different, and having a video ad would probably be a little bit better. Okay, and it's also cheaper. So video is actually cheaper than static ads. You can run video ads for, you know, for video views, and you can run those at roughly 2 to 3 cents per view, which, if you don't have a ton of money, you can definitely stretch your budget a little bit more, as opposed to something like static ads that are going directly to a website. All right, that's going to be very, very expensive, depending on your site and depending on the audience. Okay, like, you might go from $1 to click to like $5 a click, and if those people aren't necessarily buying, or if your markup isn't high enough, you're just going to burn through your budget. And a lot of people just don't have the money to continuously test. All right, man, what's this clown honky horn? I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I could definitely hear it. So when it comes to your creative, you got to kind of determine which one is going to be right for you based on your budget. Video views are cheaper. Static ads tend to be a little bit more expensive, because with static ads, you're going to be focused more, not necessarily on the engagement. You're going to be focused on getting people to go directly to that website. Now, with video views, you can kind of run a couple of ways, which, you know, for me, I typically will run for views first, and then start building lookalike audiences out of those people that have viewed, depending on how long, 25%, 50%, 100%. Okay, so building lookalike audiences out of that can definitely help you out in the long run, because Facebook knows the type of people that are going to be watching the video based on the audience that you set. Okay, now, once I have that, I will try to convert those people over to like a static ad. So it's like, all right, you saw the video views, you may have even went somewhere, but let's go ahead, let's send you a little teaser. Let's send you something else, you know, a static post that has a little bit different ad copy, you know, the wording. So that way people can see it and they're like, okay, well, I saw this video, this guy's explaining this stuff. Oh, here's a quick blurb afterwards to get them to come to the site. All right, now, this is what I would do, not necessarily for the Shopify store I have now, because with Speed Circuit, we don't have to run any ads because people know who we are. The brand's strong enough. But if, you know, we were going to be going about doing this, you know, for a new product that we were introducing, because we do build our own products, this is how we would go ahead and, well, this is how I would go ahead and do it. Once you have that, you know, you have the people who watched your video and then have seen the static ad, you can go ahead and you can create another lookalike audience for the people that perhaps have gone from that static ad over to your website, maybe even have added to cart, and not purchase. Now, usually you want to, you know, set up for like a purchase conversion, because conversions can be whatever you want them to be. They don't have to be purchases. I don't know why people always say, oh, for conversions. Like purchases, it could be for adding their email, it could be for adding the cart, it could be whatever you want as a custom conversion. But for me, it would more than likely be either add to cart or purchase, hopefully purchase. But if there haven't been a lot of purchases, we'll go ahead and add to cart, because those people are interested. We just got to figure out how in the world to get those people to convert over to actually purchase. So then we would probably have another ad. So in case that we set up for the add to cart conversion because we weren't getting a lot of sales, we would go ahead and then figure out the creative for that. Like, how do we run ads specifically to these people, you know, or the lookalike audience that we build off those people, to get them to come back and purchase? Because people that went ahead and added to cart, they're obviously interested, but they need to, you know, there needs to be something that would help them out. Maybe they don't understand how that product works, so we would probably send another ad that's a little bit more in depth on how this can benefit them. Okay, so let's say we're building like over fenders for the EXO set. So maybe these people added a cart, but they don't really know what it can do. So maybe we would send a video ad that kind of highlights, you know, the production process, why it's a good fit for their particular vehicle, and so on. So that's how we would kind of play that, and it would be cheap enough to kind of capture, you know, the bulk of our budget. Okay, where we wouldn't just be spending a ton of money hoping people come to the website first and click and add to cart, because that's not how it works. People typically need to see a little bit. They need to understand what the product can do for them before they're gonna go ahead and click. And that's the problem with a lot of these, you know, these yahoos, right? So these kids who are saying, oh, I made $1 million on Shopify, which they didn't. They're still living at home. You know, they didn't make $1 million, bro. Like, let's just be real here. Generally, these guys are making their money from, you know, selling courses and making you believe that they did that. Because in order for you to have the money necessary to run ads to build out $1 million store, you're dumping tens of thousands of dollars in an ad spend. Okay, and most of the time, it's going to be in the hopes that you're building out lookalike audiences. You're going to be losing money right and left, and most people just don't have that money. I mean, all the Christmas money in the damn world ain't gonna add up to what you need to build $1 million drop shipping brand on Shopify, okay? And that's just what it is. Or, you know, they went out and they bought a store, or they partnered with someone who already had a store that was up and running, who's already spent the tens of thousands of dollars a month, if not $100,000 a month in ads to keep this store going. So keep that in mind, guys, all right? This is what you need to know. And this is going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of money. And I know this video is more dry, but these are things that are very, very important. All right, if you're going to get into Shopify, you need to focus on making sure that you have a good product, having a trending product, and then building out evergreen things underneath that. And you need to figure out what type of ads you're going to be running. Also, another thing, if you're going to be running static ads, you should probably have a landing page to kind of showcase that product. So if you notice that you have a static ad and people are going to the page, they're clicking, but they're not buying, more than likely they don't understand what the product's going to do for them. So you need to either fix that landing page or the page where you have them going to, and tell them exactly what it is, or probably add a video highlighting what that product does. Now, in the case of a figurine, you're not going to need a video in order to do that, but something like an eyebrow pin, you know, if you're going to be running static ads towards, you know, with like a pretty face, and then moving them over to a landing page, you want to have a video there kind of highlighting what it does, the coloring, stuff like that. So that's something that you guys also need to know, and it really does help with the conversions, you know, with purchases, not necessarily just conversions, but with purchases overall. So with that being said, man, check out the links below. Hit me up on social. You know, I'm always around on Instagram. I try to answer all your questions. Leave a comment below. You guys, if you look at all my other videos, I'm always responding back to you guys. So with that being said, man, be safe, be smart. I'm going to enjoy this lovely Miami weather. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.